Hi, welcome back to Tammy Talks About. So I thought we could talk some more about the ACLU and the role that they play in this entire Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard case. I think we have maybe took for granted that they don't play that big of a role, but when you stop and think about it, they really do play a big role. So, before we get into it, of course, if you like this video, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know what your thoughts on this is, or, just anything, any topic you might want to discuss, whatever it may be. But most importantly, share this video. Now, I'm not real good at shilling my videos, but here's the thing. The ACLU is a group of some 1,300 lawyers, attorneys, and so they're a powerful organization. So you can damn well bet this video, even if I was on the scale that it would be circulated throughout YouTube, it'd be suppressed. And more people need to know how, just downright scummy these people are. Because while, yes, they thrive on donations from Millionaire Donors, and thank you, Steve Cass. He's the one that pointed that out to me, and I should have made that clear in the last video I did about this. That's who they basically support now. They still have the option, whenever you go onto their website, they still have an option for anyone to donate. So there are just everyday people who are donating to this organization, and if they knew the truth about these people, they might give their money to a more deserving charity. So, we just need to get the word out. And also, it needs to be known, because part of what we're going to talk about in this video, mainstream media is not going to tell the world. They're not going to let the average Joe know that this entire thing was a hoax. Mainstream media is going to let people continue to think that who aren't following this case, who aren't looking at the documents, who aren't looking at the evidence, who are not closely involved in this. They're going to let them continue to think when they hear the name Johnny Depp or when they see his face, they're going to be like, oh yeah, it's the guy that accosted, I guess for lack of a better word, his ex-wife. And that's exactly what the ACLU want. So it's very important that as many people as possible knows. And the thing is you hold all the power. Each and every one of you who follow this case, who watch these videos, who support these creators, you all hold the power. Think about it. Johnny made it to, 10.8 million followers on Instagram. He didn't do that because he's not a good actor. He's not a popular person. He's one of the most recognizable names in the world. That means he has a strong base, a strong supportive group of fans. And a lot of you who are involved in this case, who are interested in what's going on in this case, are not necessarily fans, but you're interested in justice. But if each and every person just shared one video, think how many people would be reached. So that's why I say share my video, and really anyone that is spreading the truth about the injustice that's being done, share everything they do as well. It's so important. So let's get into this. So after I did that video about the ACLU, I got to thinking about, how big a role do they play in this case? And so, if you think about it, if you're just casually thinking about it, or if you're just a casual observer to this case, you're gonna know that she publicly stated that she had donated $3.5 million to them and $3.5 million to CHLA. And you'll probably know that, they haven't answered as to whether she really gave it or not. Well, they made that bogus little thing showing she had pledged it, but so far they've not answered as to whether she truly gave the $3.5 million or not. In fact, Johnny's team has even had to go to the New York Supreme Court, which is where they are based, is in New York, to compel them, or to ask them to compel the ACLU to answer their subpoenas. Well, in doing this, and in depositions where they've deposed people like Eric George, we've had emails come out. And these emails have shown that the ACLU plays a much bigger role. But outside of organizations like Pop Topic or Daily Mail, you don't see anything in the mainstream media talking about this. And, I got to thinking about, because I've been guilty of saying, well, Rupert Murdoch controls the press, and since he owns the Sun, it's probably him keeping the mainstream media from covering this. And while that is probably true, if you think about it, the ACLU more than likely has some very deep ties with people, either owners of mainstream media or heavily involved in mainstream media. And they need for this narrative to continue to be that Johnny Depp, oh, that's the guy. Yeah, he's the actor who did that to his ex-wife. They don't need for the narrative to be that she is a lying gold digger that shit in his bed. They don't need the narrative to be that the ACLU actually wrote the op-ed for her. See, that would defeat their purpose. And their whole purpose in this, when you think about it, their whole purpose in this, when you go back to when they first started working with her, which would have been in 2018, they had the Violence Against Women's Act that they had been really pushing. They wanted it to continue because, see, there's hundreds of millions in funding for this act. Well, it was about to expire. In fact, they even made her an ambassador. And a lot of these organizations do this. They make people ambassadors who are high profile, who will get eyes on what they want seen. They made her an ambassador. She was at the Brett Kavanaugh Supreme Court Justice hearing protest in, October or November of that same year that the op-ed came out. And they are the ones, according to the emails that have been made public, that suggested she write an op-ed. Then they even went so far as to have one of their people write the op-ed. And then it went through dozens and dozens of attorneys, making sure they skirted around the fact that she was talking about Johnny, because they knew that she had signed an NDA after the divorce and that she couldn't legally talk about it. So they went to a lot of trouble to help someone that, considering they did no research whatsoever, they didn't know if she was telling the truth or not. And in fact, I would imagine they wanted it to be true. They really weren't concerned with whether it was or not, but on the off chance that it might be, just makes it better for them. Because you see, once all of this stuff started snowballing, well, of course, they got bipartisan agreement in the House or in Congress, wherever it went to that year, to extend the Violence Against Women Act. And, well, that means that they got the funding. And then you think about it, too. Go back to what I said about the Millionaire Donors. Well, see, these Millionaire Donors, they're more than happy to donate large sums of money to people like the ACLU, especially if the ACLU is backing what is the Flavor of the Month cause. Well, of course, what would be a better cause during the time, if you think about when all this started, during the time of the hashtag Me Too, the hashtag Time's Up, all of these movements. We had just had Harvey Weinstein. Oh, what better thing for a millionaire donor who has lots of money to give away to organizations, to charitable funds, than the Violence Against Women Act. All spearheaded by the fact that they got this very high-profile op-ed wrote in the Washington Press, of all things. Really? When you stop and think about it, they're really the reason we have Johnny versus AH today. Because, yeah, he would have still sued the son. But if there'd not been an op-ed, he wouldn't have really, he may have sued her. I mean, she said a lot of defamatory things throughout the years. He probably would have sued her. But this specific case in general, we would not have if it was not for the ACLU writing the op-ed for her. And now don't get me wrong, she is a pawn. She means absolutely nothing to them. They needed her to be the face of their cause. They knew if they thought that she was genuine, or if that might be that they know that she has no talent, I don't know, but for whatever reason, they wrote the op-ed. It could be because they knew that her motivation is simply to destroy Johnny. Why? Well, because he didn't give in to her demands in the divorce, especially at that time. That was what her pure evil motivation was. Destroy Johnny at all cost. They knew she'd be a liability. I don't think they realized how much of a liability she'd be because, as you all know, in hearings, she gave up that it was them that wrote the op-ed. She's going to save her own skin. She could care less either. What two groups of people are better for each other than the group that was willing to destroy an innocent man and the woman who was willing to destroy an innocent man? They both had the same enemy. But what they didn't think about, what they really forgot, was the innocent man. The innocent man who was willing and had the ability to fight back, which is exactly what he's doing, which is exactly why you and I are sitting here talking right now. Really, the ACLU is a lot of the cause of this. They're the biggest reason this is going on. And they've been caught with their hands in the cookie jar. Good. Maybe it'll cause some change for them as well. Maybe organizations like this that are willing to throw innocent people under the bus will be held accountable as well. As much as she is guilty, 100% guilty, I hope she's held completely accountable. They are as well, and they deserve to be held accountable. So that was my little rant about the ACLU and why I think they play a huge role in this entire case. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments below. And as always, until next time, be blessed.